Managerial dilemma. That's how I'm going to phrase this one, Conor. Xabi Alonso has been freed from Real Madrid. I think that's the fairest way I could put this one because um, I've said this before and I'll say it again. Once the conversation in the newspaper starts about a manager having to do this or X or Y to save his job, that's it. That's the beginning of the end, and they're going to go. And to be honest, he's too damn good and too classy for Real Madrid in my liking. So I want to know, Conor, right now, if you are Michael Edwards, Richard Hughes, John W. Henry, I mean, I'm giving you a lot of people here. You've got, but if you are in any one of their shoes and you're looking at our manager situation and Xavi Alonso becoming available, what's the thought process here? What's the smart play, actually? Is it to fire Arna now, bring in Alonso, or is it to maybe tease Alonso with the idea of it, drag it out, see how Arna gets on, and if Arna doesn't get to the level of success that we'd hope for, maybe have Alonso ready to go in the summer?
Yeah, I'd definitely be reaching out to Alonso's agents at this point to sound him out. Like he definitely seems like he will be interested in the job, given like what we've seen. Even before he went to Madrid, there was always talk that like he'd love to go to some of his former clubs, being Liverpool, Madrid, or Bayern Munich, and then Man City has been added to that list as well of clubs he'd be interested in. But I just like surely the play is just get him in. Like he is available. Like surely he's very high on the list. Maybe not straight away. Like I could see the club wanting to just leave Slot there for the rest of the season. They probably think we'll get Champions League. We'll just like stay steady-ish until then. Get rid of him in the summer. Give Alonso a full preseason, or get all the coaches staff in. Like it is. I understand it's messy to change everything mid-season, but like we can't just keep persistent with Slot. Like, and surely to God he's not here next year. So I'd imagine Alonso is being tapped up very heavily, and I'm sure he might want a mental break for a few months as well, to be fair, after the whole Madrid fiasco. So I would expect that something is happening, but I would probably go towards the summer more than now. I prefer now, but I think that's probably more realistic that either Slot gets sacked and the interim manager comes in, or Slot is given the rest of the season and then a clean switch over is done in the summer.
Yeah, I think the summer play is probably, if I put my emotion aside, probably the smarter play because from two aspects. One, it gives you more ammunition if Arna doesn't deliver one of the big ones to justify the decision. Two, it doesn't rock the boat mid-season, which I can always understand. You give a manager, because it's not like we're hovering above relegation zone. He has got us an unbeaten in 11 stage, and there have been some decent results in there. So I think I'm with you on that. But just before we finish up on the Alonso Real Madrid stuff, imagine going to a club and basically losing your job because you tried to implement professional standards and get people to live up to the badge that they're playing for.
It's completely insane, isn't it? It's just like he wants to go in and be like, right, lads, I want everyone to turn up on time. I want everyone to put in 100% effort. And I want everyone to not go out drinking every night, basically. It's just like, how is that wrong at a club like Real Madrid? Like, it's just so toxic. And I don't know who the hell is going to actually want that job. Or, like, it takes a certain type. I think, like, Carlo Ancelotti just had so much aura around him that he could just say, look, here, lads, let's go kick the ball around, win 15 Champions Leagues in a row. Like, he just does that. But most managers aren't that, to be fair. And it came as a surprise, I think, that Alonso did leave, because like most of the reports were saying as well that some reports were saying he might go after that game, but even that morning there was reports saying his job isn't at risk, and then suddenly he's gone. Like, it's just no, it was surprising it was out that quickly, I think, given that report. But then it was always going to be messy. Like, I don't think anyone thought he was going to be there for 3 or 4 years, and that club is just, I don't understand that. And if I was a fan of that club, I'd be just pissed off with how it's run, because the standards just seem very, very weird.
It'll be really interesting to see what happens when Jurgen Klopp takes over there in the summer now to see. I mean, even the reports of that, it genuinely, like, we use the term lol quite a bit, but when I read the links with Jurgen Klopp to Real Madrid, there is absolutely nothing about that basket case of a job that makes me think Jurgen would do it. I could make an outside argument for Barcelona, if it became available and Jurgen wanted to dip his toes. But Real Madrid is the exact polar opposite of everything that Jurgen is, was, and would be. It is the worst fit in history, and there's no way that I can see Jurgen entertaining that job. What do you think?
Can you imagine him trying to get Vinny Jr. to gegenpress? That's the way I'll answer that question. Like, you know what I mean? It's just that team is never going to do what he wants. And again, like the money they spend is completely against what he was always about. The the whole, like, what's even the word, like the connection with the fans, the team, like, it was always like, oh, us against them, we're the underdogs, we're going to be better than the sum of our parts. Well, Madrid is literally we have 4 or 5 massive superstars. The rest of you just get the ball to them and let them do what they're like. That's just not a Jurgen Klopp team whatsoever. And like you said, Barcelona maybe, Atletico Madrid could be a good shout, but like he's just, even aside from all this, like he just looks so happy since he left management, and he said multiple times
Looks like
he
he's
doesn't
getting
fancy
younger,
it
doesn't
again.
he?
He looks 10 years younger, yeah, 100%. Like he just looks so much more fresh and stress free, and the man's living his best life. Just leave him be. Stop linking him with Madrid and everyone. Just let the man enjoy his life.
Every time I see him now, I just smile. I'm happy. Like I miss him, of course, but I just think, yeah, that's our Kloppo out there having some good time with the family, enjoying himself, a nice little cushy gig with Red Bull, and yeah, it's just as you said, living his best life. I couldn't have put it any better. So I think we can say that one's a non-runner. Now, Luis Enrique. Manchester United have the balls to think they can convince Luis Enrique to come there and become their next manager. His contract is currently up at the end of next season. There are negotiations ongoing about whether he stays at Paris Saint-Germain or not. I don't think there's any doubt that Paris Saint-Germain would love to keep him, and I think he probably does stay there all in. But would he be your number one target if Arnold was to go in the summer and you had the pick of world managers? Would it be Luis Enrique that you'd be looking to bring in?
I think it would, to be fair, yeah. Just like the football he plays, the man he is, like he's a great fella, and just I just don't think it's attainable at all. So like Alonso would be my most number one realistic choice, like because that's actually feasible. But I just don't think in any world Luis Enrique leaves. Certainly not for Man United. Like they have more chance of Jose Enrique becoming the next manager than Luis Enrique. It's complete fanciful.
They couldn't convince Gareth Southgate to take the job.
That kind of sums
They
it up.
literally put all his best mates in roles, and they still couldn't convince Southgate to take the job.
It's just absolute. There's no world whatsoever Luis Enrique goes there. Like you can't believe what you're reading with some of these things. Like, and they're coming from like reputable people as well. Like, or like half decent sources who are like they're looking at him. It's like, why are you looking at him? There's just no chance. It just blows the mind.
Even a piece I think we were going through earlier on, Miguel Delaney was speaking with somebody who said they suggested that Alonso could be a target for Manchester United. I mean, he knows damn well if he takes that job, he's never managing Liverpool, ever. It's just not going to happen.
And
It's
he's just
not,
going to end
so
up depressed in about 3 months after taking the job. Like, why in God's name would anyone take that job? Like, why would anyone even want it? Like, fair enough, like Michael Carrick or someone, if he does well, he'll want the job because he's United legend and he's not at the level where he get another good team. But like someone like Luis Enrique, Xabi Alonso, like why would you go to United? There's no reason why you would other than just money, and outside of that, there's nothing.
I have a bit of a bold prediction I made on one of the videos earlier on. I'm going to say that Eddie Howe ends up at Manchester United at some point because I actually do think that could be a sensible, palatable move from United, albeit not to the Newcastle United fans, obviously.
Yeah, what's the like word with Newcastle? Like I've seen like True Geordie was saying like he wants Eddie Howe gone, but like I don't know if that kind of reflects most of Newcastle fans or not. Like, is he actually under pressure, or is it just he might leave?
I don't really know. There was an indicator report that said something like the owners are getting more ambitious and don't think that maybe Eddie Howe is the one to take that next step, and that maybe he's brought them as far as he can, because I don't think anybody would deny Eddie Howe's done a brilliant job at Newcastle. I mean, I have a lot of time for Eddie Howe. I think he's a good footballing guy. I think he's a real good coach. If you could just get rid of Jason Tyndall, then maybe I'd consider him for a Liverpool job sometime down the line. But right now, yeah, I don't know. As you said, it's hard to know when you don't really know the ins and outs of the day to day. But from what I understand, I think he's loved by the Geordies, Eddie Howe. So it would certainly be a bold decision if they were to fire him.
Yeah, it will be interesting. Like, yeah, who do they even get in? Like, because they're probably like expecting to gain like Carlo Ancelotti or someone, aren't they? The owners, they're thinking that's feasible and attainable to bring them to that next level. So I will be interested to see like how much money could they spend and get more like, good players, and then yeah, who do you actually get to manage the team if you want to push on to be the best team in the league when you're the likes of Newcastle? Like it is, yeah, it'd be an interesting one. I'd definitely like to see it play out just for my own curiosity.